Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to Real Men's Talk, where it is sizzling hot, interactive, and transforming. On this episode, we are still on the men's health series, and we are going to be treating men's sexuality. Men's sexuality. This topic is one of a topic we do not learn in school, and our parents don't find it comfortable teaching us. It is awkward to discuss it in the religious setting. So it is really difficult to have an open, healthy, and non-judgmental conversation on sexuality. Unfortunately, it is one of the major issues that is breaking many homes today. However, most of the time, we choose to keep quiet about it. I have in the studio my co-hosts who are going to delve into conversation about sexuality. Good evening once again, viewers. Welcome once again to Real Men's Talk. And we have Dr. Femi
Good evening,
Samuel
viewers,
in the
and good evening,
studio.
everyone. Good evening, Mama T.
Good evening, sir.
Good
How
evening, Mama T, and good
has your
evening, viewers.
weekend
Good
been?
evening.
So let's delve
Oh,
into sexual attraction. Is it normal for a man to feel sexually attracted to someone he's not in a relationship with? When you feel like that, should you be should you
no.
begin to think something is wrong with you?
Oh, thank you very much, Mama T. It is normal. Having sexual drive or attraction towards someone is normal. It's a normal physiology. Even the Bible attested to it that you look at someone, you lust after someone. It's normal. It's the ability for you to now control your desire. That's what makes you different. There are things men cannot just afford not to notice. And one of them is beautiful women. You get attracted. Danger is one of them. So when you see danger, your mind, you must notice it. When you also see beautiful or attractive women, you must notice it. So it is normal for someone to be psychologically attracted to someone. But you should know this. You can't have everything you want, and you can't have everything you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So is it right to discuss intimacy with friends? Your sexual relationship, discussing it with friends. Is it right? Am I audible enough? Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Mr. Oluwalere is coming in. I think his network is not so very good. Dr. Samuel, can you hear me? Okay, Mr. Oluwalere is gone. Dr. Samuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So, what is considered bad sexual behavior?
Hmm. That question is ambiguous to me. I'll try to answer it within the limits of my knowledge. Bad one person to another. It could vary from one person to another depending on your belief, cultural belief, spiritual belief, your own what you consider to be wrong. It's not what you call bad sexual behavior to me, maybe not be to you. So it's not a common thing. And I don't want to start mentioning sexual behavior that I don't believe. So if I'll be telling you what do I consider to be bad sexual behavior, I may be talking like Anna says, and so someone may say no, it's normal to you. So bad sexual behavior, so far the two couple that are involved in the sexual activity, they are satisfied. You cannot really tag a behavior bad sexual behavior. Tagging a behavior bad sexual behavior is tantamount to castigating some people's rights, and you can actually be get sued for that. You can be get sued if you talk against homosexuality, talk against lesbianism, or any other one. So there are so many sexual not go on well with our belief. Maybe because of our religious inclination, you may feel some things are wrong. But to some people, well, it's acceptable to them. So I wouldn't want to talk much about bad sexual behavior. But when I was doing part of my psychiatric posting, there are so many things I we and some of those things had to do with
Are we back online? Are you back online? I can't
with
hear anybody now. Yeah. Welcome, Ms. Oluwalere. Good evening, sir. Good to have you.
Good evening, good evening. The internet has been so bad. I can't enter since 8 o'clock. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Been trying to
Sorry
enter,
about that.
not going in.
Can anybody hear me? Oh, okay. Mr. Oluwalere, can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing
Okay.
now
The
faintly.
network is not so good
Yeah.
this night. So
I've
let's
been
hope
trying the
things
line
will improve.
since I couldn't get it.
All
Yeah.
right. So let me direct this question to you, sir. There is no formal education or guidance as to how to do sex. So when it comes to the issue of sexual or health problem, let's say poor sexual performance, does one need therapy? Mr. Oluwalere,
I'm not hearing you again. I'm not hearing you again. Maybe come again,
I
please.
said there's no formal education or guidance as to how to do sex. So when it comes to issues of
Yeah.
sexual health problem, let's say poor sexual performance, do one need therapy, Mr. Oluwalere?
You see, it depends. It depends.
On what, sir?
It depends. particularly in the groups of maybe educated and uneducated set of people. For the uneducated to go for health therapy, they may know that there is need for it. But for educated ones,
Okay. Let me ask Dr. Samuel, is it out of place, or let's say that, can the partner request the man to see a therapist if she is not getting satisfaction, or she should just keep quiet and enjoy it?
Thank you very much, Mama T. Sex actually is for two major things, for pleasure and for procreation. Most of the time that we have sex is for pleasure. Few of the time we will have it for procreation. But in a case in which someone is having problem with sexual activity, issue, seeing a sex therapist won't be out of place. That means if you have one, if in your locality there are such there in which you can consult. But in case you can't consult a sex therapist, in our setting there are people that we believe know more about sex we can talk to. Some prefer to talk to their pastors, some prefer to talk to even their doctors or their gynecologists about it. But in a setting where we have people that are sex therapists, we should talk to them without missing words. We should talk to them and let them know what the problem is all about. Because if you are not enjoying it, then you are suffering. And what should be enjoyed and not what you should endure. So if you are not enjoying it, then you can consult a sex therapist or a counselor so that you won't just be enjoying it. It's not what you have for a day, it's what you have for a very long time, and it should be enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, some men get offended when their woman give them the notion that there is need for them to step up their game. What is your advice for such men?
if the intimacy is there, if the intimacy is there between the couples, I see no reason why they should take offense in it. However, it bothers them when there is no intimacy. That is when one of them will ask the other to at least seek an advice and get offended. If the intimacy is there, I see no reason why they should be, or such person should be offended. Clean hearts and saying it in a respectful way. I don't see anything bad in it. I don't expect such person to get offended. I think that's the question. That's the way I will answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Samuel, so are there certain
Yes.
techniques men need to apply or learn to arouse or satisfy their partners?
Thank you very much. Our makeup is different, and is one sexual life. It's what you will need to learn. You are going to experiment with your partner all through life, and you will learn new things. And while experimenting with your partner, living with your partner, you start discovering things that you don't know before. Like for instance, some people, because of their makeup, their orientation, can easily achieve orgasm than others. Some people, because of their orientation, sexually turn on than the others. I've talked to different people as a gynecologist, and some people will tell you that I've had people that told me they don't even have sexual urge. They don't even know when they have sexual urge. They're always busy. Either due to the fact that when growing up, they were sexually abused, and because or they are in some religious setting where they've been made to believe that sex is evil. Some have fixed their mind on the fact that sex is just for procreation. So if you are meeting such person, he may not respond the same way you will he ought to, some people will, other people will respond. In a society, sex is what we all practice, but nobody wants to talk about it. Even till our churches and everybody is what we refer to what is sacred, being practiced in the middle of the night with the light off. Nobody wants to talk about it. So now, when you now come to sexual satisfaction, you want to know what is the entry point to your partner. People have entry points. Entry point as that I once saw a patient that during our talking, the patient said that her own entry point is someone talking into her ear. You touch her breast, you do any no matter what you do, she will not respond. But that alone will turn her on. So you must know the entry point. That's number one. Number because when you know the entry point, then what keeps them on? What makes them to get on? I really feel like yes, you must also know. Some to get satisfied, you need stimulation of the clitoris. That means clitoral orgasm for them to reach orgasm. Some people have talked about G spot in some parts of the body that if it's well assessed and harnessed, you can have them coming into orgasm. In our setting, I've talked to people and you notice that some women can live through their life and die without knowing what orgasm is all about. When you talk about it, they feel so it's strange to them as you are telling them meat. There are 5 stages of sex, and let me talk about it now. We have the desire, where you feel, let me do this thing. The second stage is the arousal. You get aroused. How do you know you're aroused? Eh? As a man, you start having erection. As a woman, you start having lubrication of the vagina. Start getting wet. Some parts of the body start producing fluid to lubricate. Then we now have play two. Play two is what so many people get to. They get to the play two. Are you getting me? They get to the play two. When they get to the play two, maximum is as if you've gotten to gear three. Your car is moving so well. But that is not the maximum you can achieve. From play two, you can also, and that's when you can now move to orgasm. And after orgasm, for male, is resolution. Those are the 5 stages. But for women have an added advantage. Women have an added advantage, and the added advantage is that from orgasm to resolution to orgasm to play two to orgasm to play two, instead of eating orgasm and coming back to resolution, they can move from orgasm to play two several times. That means they have the ability to have multiple orgasms for a woman. Now, let's now talk about this. We now talk about time. What what you can do to make sure that you increase the pleasure in your partner. One of them is I've talked about knowing the entry point. I've talked about knowing the entry point. I've talked about keeping it on. Another thing is that there are some technique I don't want to talk about now, in which you can actually reduce your ejaculation because people complain. What do they complain? There are issues about it. Complain about having premature ejaculation because a man on his own can start from desire, arousal, play two, get to orgasm and resolution in the shortest possible time. In the shortest possible time. But women don't move that same way. They take their time to move. So you have to now study the person. Your partner, if it's a woman, must move ahead of you. You are not going to rush. If you rush her, it is when she's getting to arousal or to play two, that is when you are getting to resolution and you can't continue again. And it could be so disappointing. So before you keep yourself in arousal or play two for a long time by avoiding number one, some avoid sexual vaginal penetration. They go into fondling or what they call how would I call it, foreplay for a very long time. They go into foreplay for a very long time. The purpose of going into foreplay for a very long time is that you want to keep the woman on. At the point where if you know the entry point to that woman, you could stimulate her enough, she will actually tell you when she wants you to come in. He said at that point she's about eating orgasm. So that the two of you can achieve orgasm almost the same time. Because the moment you achieve each orgasm as a man, you hit resolution. And after resolution, you are tired. There are so many things. You can read books on it. There are different sexual culture. People have said that when the woman is off, because the penis is made turgid by blood flow. That if the woman is off, that means that the blood flow may be not be as efficient as it is. So by doing that, the woman may not come on time. Some have talked about using condom. That the condom actually reduce the sensitivity. So because reduction of sensitivity now, the person will not ejaculate on time. In fact, there are some condoms that are laden with with local anesthetics like xylocaine. What they do is that they reduces the sensitivity on the gland penis and prevent early ejaculation. There are some other things that they say that during foreplay that you ask the woman to relax it. When you know that you're about hitting orgasm, you will know when you're about hitting orgasm. And the people that practice withdrawal method, they know when to withdraw. At that point, what you should do is that you plead for all the activities to stay. You can blank your mind for a while, think about some other thing. Are you getting me? Or calm down with no movement. You're about leaving play two to get to orgasm. Just relax a bit. If you relax a bit, 1, 2, 3 minutes, you can go back to arousal, leave the play two. You continue with sexual activities. This could be done on multiple bases till you are sure that, and while doing this, you won't stop stimulation of your partner. So that with stimulation of your partner, so that though you are stopping, but your partner is being stimulated, so that she can consistently stay in that play too. And two of you can now hit orgasm at the same time. But you must also know this. Men hit orgasm and there are reasons for that. When we looked at what we like call the evolutionary trend, evolution believe that any part of your body that you don't use, you tend to lose that function. And if you look at it, a woman does not need orgasm to achieve conception at all. It doesn't need it. But a man needs orgasm to ejaculate and impregnate a woman. So our orgasm as a man has been in use over the years from creation to date. But woman doesn't need orgasm. It's just the egg will be released at ovulation. There are some animals that it is when they reach orgasm that they ovulate. Those animals will always eat orgasm because they've kept their orgasm in place. But in female human, it's not so. You don't need orgasm to achieve pregnancy. So we notice that the orgasm is not as important in our procreation. It's not important at all. The orgasm we have is for pleasure. And because of this, most women are losing their orgasm. You can be shocked that there are some women that have not achieved orgasm in all through their life. So the issue of sex, you need to see somebody. It's not what could be discussed at a go. You need to practicalize it, study yourself, and know the way you actually react, you respond to touch, the way you respond to every activities. With that, you will know how to satisfy your partner. Thank you very much. There are still more things to say. If I continue talking, I don't want to talk. Maybe other questions, we have to visit some other part. We will not leave here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Olawale Olabode, thank you so much, sir, for your comment. He said that the issue of culture and tradition, exposure or experience before marriage are some of the major problems in sex relationship in marriage. There is no specific way to get into woman than to show love and care. Thank you so much, sir, for your comments, Mr. Olawale Olagode. Now, Mr. Oluwalere, what does good sexual life has to do with communication?
Thank you very much. I was going to really say something about Mr. Olabode because to me it's like he actually got me. You see, this issue of sexting, except we are trying to sectionalize it as the case may be, because in recent when we are talking about sex education or whatever, you know, the role it plays in the life of an illiterate is completely different from the role it plays in the life of someone who is educated. Take, for example, when you say, okay, there are sexual techniques, there are this, there are that, and you ask people to go and read about it. What would an illiterate read about when they cannot even read or write? That is one. Two, the issue, if you look at what Mr. Labode wrote, you discover it has something to do with our culture as well. Our culture, if not now, people don't really like, people don't really see people discussing about sex. They look at it as if it is a taboo. Whereas in real sense, it is not. In some developed countries, at least, you know, they discuss it, it's nothing to them. For example, you see somebody see a woman putting on ordinary pants in a setting. They look at such person as if that person is not responsible, or that person is senseless, or he doesn't really know what is wrong with her. But it's nothing when it goes to developed world. So coming back to your questions, if I may get it, you are asking about. Can you frame it again? Sorry, ma'am.
What does communication has to do with having good sexual life? How does the way we communicate with our partner affects our sexual life?
You know, communication in real sense normally affects sexual life in the sense that there are some things when you see a man and a woman coming together to have sex, there are some signs you will see that clearly tells you wow, this is what these people are really thinking about. This is what and what they want to do, and it's a way of preparing them for such a venture. But like I said earlier on, for an illiterate, to me, they most of the time they don't attach so much importance to the issue of communication. They don't. But in this sense, put it in a different way, it helps to prepare the couple for the real game. And in this sense, but you discover some people at times, why one of them may get it, the other one may not really get it. So if the two of them don't have the same purpose, they don't have the same mind, or they don't have a kind of education towards it, it may mean little or nothing to one of the parties. So it is only when the two parties have the frame of mind, maybe they have the same development, they have the same sexual maturity, the same sexual awareness. That is when communication really plays a vital role. But if that is not present, communication may play little or no role in preparing a couple for sex. I don't know whether I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, some men believe that they want to preserve their partners, so they patronize professional sex workers. Is there such thing as getting loose from too much sex for women? From the medical aspect of it. You're muted. You're still muted.
What about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now loud and clear.
Hello?
We can
I
hear
journey
you
to
loud
preserve.
and clear.
Most have this belief that too much sex will make you grow old. But reverse is the case. Sex will actually make you younger.
Can you
Like
explain, sir?
psychologically, medically, when you have sex, you hit orgasm, some natural occurring endorphin, natural endorphin. That means like opioid. When you take opioid as a drug, as an adult, it makes you feel elated, you feel high. The same way there are some parts of the brain that there are some chemical in the brain called naturally occurring endorphin. When you hit orgasm, you'll be happy. You are okay, you smile. Your hormones are released. You look fresher, you look happy. When you see families that have sex regularly, 2, 3 times every week, study them very well. They don't fight unnecessarily. They cannot fight for a long time. It will not their fight will resolve almost naturally or spontaneously because they have a bond, they have a link. The reason why most men, most couples have problem is that look at most couples, they don't have the same what would let me put it, they don't have this what they call the same hobby. If your husband is a football fan and you like watching African Magic, the truth is that if your husband is a football fan, when a man leaves home to go out, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to watch match with all his friends that are Chelsea fans so that they can analyze the football and criticize themselves. But you don't want to watch it. Automatically, you will not be on the same page with that man. You'll be talking about Arsenal. In fact, most of the time, if you're even there, you'll be asking the man, is this Nigerian playing or Ghana? And now be angry, say, woman, let me watch. Because you're not on the same page. The only way to get their attention, you look at it. If a man needs to relax, who does he relaxes with? His friend. What is so unique about the friend that's different from you? They have some things in common. Maybe football, discuss business or the woman or discuss about women. But if you are also a football fan, there is no way if he's picking Chelsea, you are picking Man U, and two of you are analyzing today's game. There is no way he will be there. In fact, he will be the one to call you. The match is starting. I'm rushing home. The same thing we said. If two of you have been having good and regular sexual intercourse, there's no way you have a playing ground. Some couple are just like neighbor. Everything is formal. But if you have sex regularly, number one, you'll be closer. When is the time to fight? When you know that in the next 2 days or the next day you are going to call yourself. You can't fight for a long time. So apart from it solidifying the relationship that is already there, those naturally occurring endorphin is released. Look at a man after sex or during sex or before. You see, a man can promise you anything. You can get anything from a man. At that point in time, he can promise you anything just to get it. So if someone said that a good woman fill her husband's stomach and empty her testes, so regular sexual intercourse does not make a woman grow old, according to what people believe. No, it makes them happy. A woman that hit 3 orgasms in a single night cannot leave you, even if you don't have money. When the woman start telling people that I'm only protecting my property, which of the property is she protecting? Television or Ghana must go or cupboard or fridge or gas cooker that she can't carry away. She will always protect her property. That's the question. And the property she's protecting cannot be fully elucidated. She will tell you it's her property. What's her property? So on the contrary, on another view, on the contrary, sex doesn't make women get older. It actually makes them get younger because they are happy. When a woman is happy, is always smiling, she will be younger. When a woman is always frowning, fighting, she will be get old on time. So I share the opinion that sex does not make people get older. On the contrary, it makes them look more beautiful, younger. They tend to appreciate life. Those are the beautiful moments they can ruminate over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Lualire. So let's talk about men that go out because their spouse are not ready to go extra mile to meet their sexual needs. So what can they do to make the woman comply to them? Am I clear?
Honest, yeah, honestly, if it is a spiritual setting, I see no reason why a man should go out because the woman is not unable to really meet his or her needs. That means there is no bonding. If a woman is not able to meet your needs, so long as the two of you are cordial, your relationships are so cordial, you are partners, you should tell yourselves, and the two of you should be able to discuss it as to how can we improve on this. That well, you are not romantic or you are your performance so low. What can you do to improve on it? If the bonding is there, the woman can even look for those things that she thinks the husband can use or do to enhance the performance. And there will be unity, there will be friendliness, there will be cooperation at home. To say the least, that maybe because somebody cannot satisfy you, you go out. Such a person is going outside his boundary. And to me, if such things should continue, the tendency is there that within a shortest possible time, there could be a a breakup with that marriage. Guys, not taking. Let me give you an example of something that happened recently. I can't say whether it is real or whether it's just a story, but all I know is I read it. Some thieves broke into a home, and the first thing one of the robbers did was to pounce on another woman of the home in the presence of the husband. And they had a sexual intercourse with the woman. And in the process, you see the way the woman was enjoying it. To the extent that thereafter, she felt the way she enjoyed that day was completely different from the enjoyment she had been getting from the husband. And anytime the husband has intercourse with her mind will just flash back to the robbers that had a relationship with her. And to the extent that she will even be mentioning the name of that person. What is that telling you? That is quarter to breaking up. So if you discover you're a woman, a man is not getting satisfaction from the wife, I think the best thing is for the two of them to discuss it. If possible, meet people who will really at least teach them of what to do and what not to do, things to do and things not to do, what to eat and what not to eat, the type of exercises to carry out and those not to carry out. And I think the bonding will be there. But to say the least, that maybe because you are not getting satisfaction from your woman and you go out, definitely such a person is trying to prepare or digging the grave of a kind of marriage breakup. And that's my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Samuel, in this line, it is it a man's responsibility to discover the partner's hotspot to stimulate it to both parties' advantage? Is
Thank you
it
very
his
much.
responsibility?
It's not the responsibility to discover it alone. You can also tell the man, do this, lead the man through. There is no need to, sex is not, you discover a lot of things during sexual intercourse, but you should also not make it, you should make it easy for the man by leading the man on. It's like you cooking and I'm telling you that no, I won't tell you there's salt if I don't like pepper, if I eat less salt, if I don't like seasoning. Are you getting the kind of food? I just expect to start discovering it. It's a whole lot of there's a communication. Sometimes you need to talk and say no, this food is too peppery. If you marry a woman that eats it, oh no, this food is too peppery. I won't be able to cope with it. So you should be able to lead the person on. It is not the man's duty to start discovering it. If you don't know yourself and the man is looking for it, yes. But if you know, don't keep the man in the dark. It will help to say, I prefer this, I don't like this. It will help. But it is the duty of the man, it is both the duty of both the man and the woman to make sure that they they enjoy themselves. Some people call it fun. Why they call it fun? Because it's enjoyable. It should be enjoyed. You see, there are reasons why God made sex enjoyable to the animal kingdom. Not only humans, even the dogs and all those things, they enjoy it. So if for any reason you are not enjoying, ask yourself why. So it's not the duty of the man to make sure that two of us must enjoy. Two of you must work together. You have a concerted effort to make sure that you improve the outcome of your sexual life to the benefit of both parties and the relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, people perception of what depth of intimacy can be regarded as sex varies. So there was a true life story of a virgin that was not penetrated but got pregnant with twins. So at what point is sex considered done?
Hmm. Thank you very much. I think a medical doctor should be able to answer that one clearly. But to the best of my knowledge, I think it should be at the point of ejaculation. That's to the best of my knowledge. But I think those on medical line should be able to tell us more because that's not my line. But I think at the point of ejaculation, it is not at the point. It isn't at the
Thank you.
point of satisfaction or what have you. I think it should be at the point of releasing. Yeah. Thank you.
We talked about your
Mr.
question
Simon,
is
do you want to
at
say
what
something to
time
that?
do we talk about yes. At what time do you talk about sexual intercourse? Yes. There are what we call penetrative and non penetrative sex. Sex is not until you penetrate. There is vagina and if penetrate there is we also call when you are talking about alleged sexual assault, it's not only penetrative, vaginal penetration, anal penetration, penetrating the mouth, any orifices in the body. That's you see, there let's talk about this. We have like coitus interfemoris, having sex on the laps. Some can be on the breast, in between the breast. There are still sexual activity. It could be anal sex, it could be oral sex. Any one of them is sexual intercourse. You see, this thing depends on your the way you see life, your orientation about it. So it's not when you have vaginal penetration to talk about sexual. No. And as for the one you said about the virgin getting pregnant, yes, it's possible. Someone that has his eye, what makes a virgin? The hymen is still intact, has not been broken. And studies have shown that sperm or semen that is poor on the vulva can get to the uterus and fertilize egg. So that has been reported. So it is not when you have penetrative sexual intercourse that someone can get pregnant. So there are different level of sexual intercourse depending what. In fact, these days people talk about virtual sex on phone, talk about sex on webcam. It's not penetrative, and yes, it's still sexual intercourse. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, sir. How many women unapologetically declare that they want their men to be romantic. So, what effort should a man make to be romantic? What effort should be made to attain, or should a man make to also help the partner have sexual satisfaction?
Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, you have answered part of the questions. You discover that some men are not romantic, and women don't like it. So for those who are not romantic, and the woman knows she doesn't like it, I think the best thing to do is to do those things that will make the man to be romantic. And what are those things? Maybe it could be buying some books that talks about romance. Maybe buy some films where they play romance, and maybe the two of you watch, and if the intimacy is there, you explain. Or maybe there are things you think he's not doing, which you believe he does will make him to be romantic. You tell him. The two of you are couples. And when it comes to the matter of sex, I don't think there should be anything that you keep away from yourselves. But be that as it may, you discover some men are not romantic at all, and women doesn't like it. And because of that, I think the best thing to do is to do or tell them those things they know they can do to make them romantic. And I think that will help them in reducing those idea of not being romantic. But if you are saying you don't like it and you keep quiet, automatically you want to indirectly cause some problems at home. So the best thing is do those things that will make him romantic. And those are the things you can do, is to at least tell him, show him some pictures, show him some trainings, show him some books that talks about romance, discuss it with him, and you see that there will be a lot of positive changes that you will experience from it. Some men, when it comes to the issue of romance, they don't want to know. They ask is to just climb, do it, and leave the place. The women don't like that. So it is the woman that will really help in making or ensuring that that person becomes romantic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will do a follow-up to that question, so I'm still going to stay with you, sir. So we all know that it is not a secret that most women want foreplay. What do men really want?
That question is so big. What does man want?
Okay, let me go further. On that question. That some men think that foreplay is a favor to the woman.
Okay.
If not, why would a man want to skip foreplay? You can answer it now, sir.
Maybe if I should put it this way. Thank you very much. I want to be sincere with you. When it comes to the issue of sex, men tends to be more selfish. Let me use that language. I'm sorry if I use that language, but I have to use it all the same. Most of the men, what they are interested in, even no matter what the woman goes through, they don't want to know. Theirs is to just get there and go out. But when it comes to the issue of women don't like it at all. But women hate the idea of you just coming and go out immediately. No. But because the attitude of men has always been selfish when it comes to the issue of sex. So because of that, men may not really want to go through those processes. But to women, there are things they don't try on. An average man doesn't really want to go through that process. But because of the fact that men are generally selfish, that is why you see such things happening at all times. And that could cause fraction anyway. Well, women don't just like just come in and go out and forget about it. No, and that, I think that's what brought about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Samuel, some men are intimidated by their sizes. So, does size really matters? And secondly, what size is too small or too large?
Hmm. Yes, size sizes actually matter when it comes to performance, but you don't need size to be optimal in your performance. Men are intimidated by their sizes. The big ones are trying to be so happy because the truth is that women generally will prefer big size generally. But when the size is too big, it can be inconvenient. Why is size important? Some women have big vulva, so they need something to fill in the vagina so that it can move the clitoris for them to actually enjoy it. If you have a big size, averagely big size, advantage already. But peradventure you have something very small. It's not that you cannot see the optimal, but you have to work harder. Have to put in some techniques. How you have to, to learn some tricks to achieve your aim. But with big size, you do less work because the size is already there. So size is an on the average, the pilot, electric pilot should be like around 5 to on about 6 inches, the half of a ruler. That's on the average, we measure it on the average, like half of a ruler. A ruler is like 30 centimeter, half is like 15 centimeter. That's on the average, between 12 to 15 centimeter. It's normal. Some can have something, small size is considered to be when it's less than half of that. They have it like less than 7 centimeter. You start questioning the abnormality of it. 7, 5 centimeter. But since we have size is always an advantage. If you have the size, with little work, you can achieve your aim. But even if you have a smaller size, a small size, that doesn't mean that you cannot still achieve your aim. You must now learn how to make use of that small size to achieve your aim. That is when the techniques will now come. So size actually matters. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, are there certain exercises that can enhance one's sex life? Does one's physical activities affect is affect or influence good sexual life?
Certainly, yes. 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 There are some physical activities that would free you from all those things that could make easy performance. Yes, yes. There are some exercises one needs to do that makes the body and everything free, that can make you have a kind of extra performance. And that's why you see most of those who are engaged in sporting activities tend to free their body, they can move their body anywhere, and they tend to be more romantic too. So physical exercises will assist, will enhance performance. I believe that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Samuel, some men blame their women for not reaching climax. So, who is to be blamed? Would it make any difference if he can press the right button?
Both parties, both parties. Because some people have just sealed their mind. In their subconscious, they cannot just. So why I say both parties that you can take a horse to the river, you can't force that horse to drink water. The first thing you must do is that the person, you should just know that there is a level called orgasm. and that level is achievable. The second thing is that you can achieve this orgasm. Now, how do you go about it? Some will tell you they don't need it. When someone believes he doesn't need something, he cannot get it. Some are even at their mind because they believe that when you talk about orgasm, that will you be screaming doing sexual act like you are not lost. Someone that believes that screaming during sexual intercourse means that you are loose. So how would that person get there? He has already sealed his mind. So it's both parties. The woman should be willing to get there, and the man should be willing to explore. The man get there. If both parties can work together, sex is not what just it's not rape in which I'm the one doing it, you are suffering. No. The two parties should participate actively. Are you getting me? Actively and enjoy it and decide that they want to enjoy it. With this, they will achieve their aim. But if one party is trying and the other one is just feeling like, abeg leave me alone, let me go and sleep. There's no way. So it's both parties that is to be blamed. The two of them must know what they want, follow it through, and they will get it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, let's talk about virtual sex. Is it right for couples? Internet, phone sex? Is it right for couples? What's your view about that?
Can you please come again? Sorry, that's I have a kind of disruption here. Disruption.
Virtual
Can
sex,
you
like
please come
phone,
again?
internet sex. Like, let's say the husband is away, he's not in the country, he traveled, and they are trying to do some sort of virtual sex through the phone, through the internet. What's your
Yeah.
view about it? Is it right for couples? In fact, there was a story of a pastor's wife. The husband traveled, and she was sending some nude pictures to her husband. But unfortunately, she made a mistake, sent it to the church platform. It was an horrible situation. She wanted to send to her husband, but she mistakenly sent it to the church platform. The pastor's wife nude. So what's your view about virtual online telephone sex for couples? What's your view?
I completely abhor it. I hate it. It's not spiritual. If I look at what you have just said, mistakenly. So to avoid such a mistake, there is no point doing it. Me, I don't even believe it. It's not the best. It's not spiritual. If you are together, you can put yourself in nakedness, doing what sort of things you like, but by doing it virtually. What if any of your junior ones get to know about it? What are you trying to do? You are teaching them immorality. It's not spiritual. Me, I don't believe in it, and I don't like it, and it's not the best. You can call yourself, talk to yourself, how are you, but this issue of maybe showing your body, showing this, sending it, you don't know which hands it will fall into. Imagine you are an MD and on an office, and your wife sends it to you, and it wrongly gets to your secretary or to anybody in your office before you have it. The way people will interpret it is maybe the person is not responsible, especially the uneducated ones. They say that person is not a responsible person. In fact, if it mistakenly falls into the hands of your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, in fact, the way they will wash you, they will so hate you, particularly if they are uneducated
They
people.
will watch them.
So me, I'm against it completely, and it should be discouraged. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Simon, what are the causes of ejaculation problems and what are the solutions to it? I think that's my final
All right,
question
thank
to
you.
you today.
People are complaining of premature ejaculation, delay ejaculation. People will talk about retrograde ejaculation. Premature ejaculation is normally an average sexual intercourse should be around 5 minutes. some say 5.5 minutes, 5 minutes. So ejaculation is said to be premature if it happens uh less in if it comes less than half of the time you are having sex, you release just within the first 1 or 2 minutes of starting the sex, not all the time, but more than half of the time. So this person have premature ejaculation. And what does it mean? Most ladies, I explained it before that we have 5 stages in sex: desire, arousal, play two, orgasm, and resolution. If you have premature ejaculation, that means that the lady is still in arousal and you're already releasing. That means she's not enjoying anything at all. She has not even gotten to play to premature ejaculation. It could cause, in fact, it could make a man lose confidence in himself. Because one of the things that makes a man feel satisfied in bed is that if the woman is satisfied, if your woman is satisfied, you feel satisfied. The same way that when you cook food and give to a man and the woman eat the food and enjoy the meal, you feel satisfied. How do you feel when you put the food on the table and the man just 1 or 2 spoons and say, it's not sweet, it's not tasty? How will you feel? You feel bad. The same way when your woman doesn't, when you cannot satisfy her, you feel bad. You feel you are not, you are failing in your duty. That is premature ejaculation. Then we have what we call delay ejaculation. Ejaculation is said to be delayed if the sex lasts, if there is unplanned delay. You know, there are sometimes people can plan to delay ejaculation to satisfy their partner. But in this case, you didn't plan the delay. It's not just coming 30 minutes, 1 hour, for no reason. It could be that delay ejaculation. We could also have problem we call retrograde ejaculation. Most of the time, people that have had what's it called? That have had surgery like prostate removed, that have their prostate elderly. So when the instead of the semen coming out, it goes back to the bladder so that they will now pass it out in the urine. That's the ejaculation. For premature ejaculation, well, the cause of it could be psychological. It happens in so many young people. They are anxious, they are anxious, they are restless, they just want to do this thing and get out. They find themselves will not be able to control the urge. Whereas uh, for delay ejaculation, as that person had trauma before, is the person on drug. There are some drugs like alcohol. It will come because alcohol is a neuroinhibitor. It will inhibit the release. So as some antidepressant drugs that can cause that. So that will cause delay ejaculation. What are the treatments? For someone that have it, that have premature ejaculation, first of all, you must know it's a problem. Your partner to recognize it's a problem. And there are some techniques that have been described. Technique like, you know you are just hypersensitive, you release on time. Sorry, I'm going to be a little bit clear, a little bit raw here. Don't quote me out of context, please. For viewers who are looking at it, during sexual intercourse, you make penetration. The most sensitive part of a man is the gland, the cap of it. That's the most sensitive part. You know, you go in, the best thing you do, just go down and rest for about 1 or 2 minutes so that that your firing hormone that want to release will come down a bit. Don't move. When you go down, that your body is a little calm, you can now start the thrusting. With that, it can actually help. Some have talked about use condom. Some have even talked about using what's it called? The anesthetic spray. There are some spray that contain low dose anesthetic. Spray it on the chest. It reduces the sensitivity. Or you can use antidepressant. All those things can help to delay ejaculation. So I mean, for you to be able to meet up so that you won't release on time. Therefore, for for what's it called? Delay ejaculation. What do you do? What you do for delay ejaculation? You stay long. If you are on any drug, that you feel that is inhibiting your stimulation, you have to go off that drug. There is no need trying to kill yourself in an attempt to satisfy someone. You don't have to be on a woman for 30 minutes, 1 hour before you can satisfy her. In fact, most of the time, the woman will get dry. She'll start feeling pain. Just study it, use the technique, not by power or by mind, but you need to know the technique of what to do. For the uterine ejaculation, well, most of the time it falls back into the bladder and they have to pass it out. And it could due to maybe after surgery or what. Anybody that have any of these problems can actually meet a neurologist. They will not have a way of helping you out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Lualiri is offline right now. So let me ask you the final, your take to people. What are the tips to enjoy healthy sexual life? What are the tips to enjoy healthy sexual life? Your final word.
Thank you very much, Mama T. The key to enjoying healthy sexual life is that talk about being the ideal hour. You can go 10 hours, you can go 4 rounds, you can go 6 rounds. What really works for you? You can actually have sex for 20 minutes and you are satisfied. So start do it. Don't kill yourself. Study yourself and your partner. What do you people want? And you get it and you'll be happy with yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, your final take for people to take home today. What are the tips to enjoy healthy sexual life? What should people take home today on this topic? What's your advice? Your final word on this, Mr. Oluwalere, sir.
The system is not friendly again, but I don't know if you are hearing me.
Okay.
Are you hearing
We
me?
can hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear, sir.
Hello.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. We can hear you.
Oh,
We can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. Wow. We can hear you. Okay. Oh. Hello, can you hear us now? Can you hear me? I think his network is bad there. Okay. So I think we have to wrap up on the topic today, and I want to say thank you to everyone that have been a part of the conversation. Thank you so much, Pastor Lawale Olabode. Thank you so much. That's our uncle there, for being a part of the conversation. We are glad to have you. And thank you, everyone, again. As many that will be watching later, share the video and put replay on it. So, on this, we are wrapping up and we'll say thank you once again. Stay tuned to RMT, where it is sizzling hot in